So here we are, we're in the Premier Inn in Warwick, fairly standard room for us. Most important part is the bed and the usual bathroom in here. And tomorrow we're going to continue with our adventure a little bit, and then we're going to head on to Dover. And the standard breakfast in Premier Inn. That'll get us going for another full day of travelling.
Yeah.
So I don't know how this is going to sound over the road noise, but we're quite far down now. We're actually on the M40. Do we go on to the M25? Yeah. So when we go on to the M25, we're going anti-clockwise because we were in Warwick. Now normally if we're driving down we would go clockwise on the M25 and go over the Dartford Bridge, but we're not doing that today. We're going the other way. Yeah. And
25 south, not M25.
What he said. So we didn't need the Dartford toll, and then when we go back, because of where we're stopping on the way back, we'll also not be going the Dartford crossing. So it saved us like, what, a tenner?
I don't know how much it is.
I think it's a £5 each way for the Dartford toll. Feel free to check us on that one, we might not be right. It's been a couple of years since we drove. So we'll show you some of the road, and we're going to stop at services because somebody needs a break. So those services had loads of food choices. We could have had a Nando's or noodles, there was a Pizza Express and a Witherspoons, but for quickness we just grabbed sandwiches from Marks and Spencer's, and we're back on the road, heading back onto the motorway. But we're getting every set of traffic lights on the roundabout. It's like 4 traffic lights in a row that we hit there. And we're ready to head back on the motorway, and we'll have a wee sandwich on the way. So now we're on the M25, heading anti-clockwise. We don't have long left on the M25, we're coming off soon. So I thought I would just show you a little bit of the road. It's relatively quiet at this part. It's been kind of variable, but we're making good time at the moment. This is where we are on the sat nav. As you can see, we've done just over 400 miles now, and we're getting pretty good fuel economy. We filled the car with diesel before we left home in Glasgow. And we've got about half a tank, and we expect to get to Dover and top up in Dover. Yeah. We've got a difficult to tell. I'm trying to work out how much longer we've got on this route till we get to Dover.
An hour and 10 minutes.
We've got about an hour and 10 minutes left to go today, and then we'll stop in Dover. So we're currently on the A20, having been on the M20, and we're about to go through a tunnel. Not the Channel Tunnel, as you may have guessed. That was a bit too quick. In fact, we just passed the entrance to the Channel Tunnel about 5 minutes ago, didn't we?
Yep.
We took the Channel Tunnel once, but we're not fans. Specifically, I was not a fan.
Not that popular.
Yeah, Dave's like I don't like the tunnel, I don't like the car being in a train, being in a tunnel, no. So we're getting a ferry, and we'll be getting a ferry tomorrow morning. Tonight we're going to stay at another Premier Inn, we like them, they're cheap. In Dover there's quite a few, we've stayed in all of them. They're all equally good. The one we're staying in tonight is about a 2-minute drive from the port, so it's really handy for the morning.
Yeah.
Not the closest one, but you'll see that next week when we come home. So this is the road we're on now. And this is the road that's leading us into Dover. We're about 10 minutes out of Dover. So this is the road leading down into Dover, and you can see the sea, sort of, through the mist. Over there's the sea. You can see a couple of ferries there as well. We'll be seeing more of the ferries tomorrow. I'll show you a ferry tomorrow. We've made pretty good time. It's 5 o'clock, and we could probably have got the ferry tonight, but for us it made more sense to catch the first ferry in the morning. That way we get more time at Disneyland when we get there tomorrow. So here we are, we're in the Premier Inn in Dover. This is the Premier Inn in Jubilee Way in Dover, if you're wondering. Doesn't have air conditioning, but it's got a fan and a heater. Also the window opens. It will not be opening it because it's rather stormy. Say hello. And again, it's just a fairly standard room in a Premier Inn, but it suits us. It's about 2-minute drive away from the port for the morning.
Yes.
It's got a big Brewers Fair next to it, and it's handy for a garage. Although there's actually a Tesco just kind of over there a bit that might be cheaper.
If we are where you think we are.
Hmm?
If we are where you think
We are where I think we are, and Tesco will be cheaper for fuel, I think. So that's the plan just now. We're going to fill up with fuel, and then we're going to get some dinner, and then we're going to hit this. Good morning. It's 7:30 and we're on our way down to the port in Dover to catch our ferry. This is the road down to the port from the Premier Inn that we stayed in. Lots of sheep in the fields. So this is us now just coming down into the port. There's the port there. We won't be able to film going through the security bit, but we'll tell you about it in a minute. So, and here we are at Dover Port.
Princes of the Universe.
We are... What?
You said so, here we are. And I said, we are the Princes of the Universe.
Okay.
Boing.
There's a Burger King and a Costa Coffee over there. I think there's a WH Smith. Don't quote me on that just now. We'll get a Costa at some point. But just now we are in lane 209, and you get a little hangy thing that you put in your mirror when you're sitting in the lane. We were booked on the 8:25 ferry, but we got an email on Friday suggesting it was the 9:25 ferry. We came in time for the 8:25 and it's been cancelled, so it is definitely the 9:25 ferry. But it's only like an hour less, and it means we're not quite stressed getting organised for the ferry, because we've still to get the car ready for driving France. So these are the headlight reflectors that you put on your headlights before you drive in France, and they change the direction of your lights so you don't dazzle the French cars, because we're driving on the other side of the road. And they look like that, and they just stick on and they come off quite easily as well when we're finished. I thought that we had a GB sticker in this kit, but we don't. So we're gonna need to go to the shop and get a GB sticker. And this is what it looks like on the car. Over here you'll see David putting the other one on. There's a guide in the packet that tells you where to put it on what different types of car. So it was reasonably easy, wasn't it?
I hope so.
It's so cold out on the deck. It's really windy and it is cold to begin with. So we've come in, we've seen us leaving port, and we're going to go and get some breakfast on the ferry. The ship is moving a lot, it's really swaying. And well, wish us luck eating a cooked breakfast on a ship that's moving this much. We've got a window seat. Well, that was pretty fast.
Yep.
We definitely had the wind behind us. As we only took an hour to get here on the ferry today. That's us sitting in the car in the ferry, and we're about to get off.
Yep.
We are now in France. So we've made it out the port and past all the traffic, and this is us now on the road out of port. We're passing Calais, which is over there, the sea's over there, and we'll be joining the motorway soon to head straight towards Disneyland. I'll show you a bit more of the road once we're a bit further on. So this is the view from the side of the car as we're driving through France. We're still just outside of Calais. Obviously it's the passenger side, I'm not driving. And over, if I come around here, this is the road, this is the A1 out of Calais. It's officially called the Autoroute des Anglais, as this is the road that you would take to get to England via ferry. It's a bit more of the scenery. It does look quite nice outside. It's not the warmest of days, it's 10 degrees outside according to the car, but we're doing pretty well. So this is the sat-nav. We programmed the hotel address in on the sat-nav before we left Dover, mainly because we were kind of sitting in the car waiting to get on the ferry. And we've got the speed set in kilometres to 110.
Which is around 70 miles an hour.
Yeah. So there we go, that's what the road looks like just now. We haven't gone onto the toll road yet. If I'm fast enough, when we see the toll coming up, I'll put the camera on and show you us going through the tolls. But the road right now, we always feel that the roads are really good quality in France.
Yeah.
Like no potholes or anything. Till we get a bit closer. And the roads are just clear and straight and pretty straightforward as well to follow. So this is us pulling up to the toll booth. I think we just get the ticket here. Might be wrong. Yeah, I think we're just getting a ticket. So, we pull the ticket out, get up, off we go. And that's us. And that's us on the motorway. So this is what our ticket looks like. And we put this in when we get off the road. Just looks like that in the back. When we come off, we put that in the machine that tells us how much we have to pay. So I'm going to put that in my purse, and we'll need that again probably in a couple of hours. It's currently 20 past 11, so we'll tell you what the time is when we come off the toll road. As you can see there, the speed limit is 130 in the dry. That 110 sign that we just passed is for towing if you've got a motor caravan or something.
90.
For caravans.
Is that what that is?
Yeah. So we're going to set this cruise control to 130, which is about 80 miles an hour. This is what the road looks like. I'll get as close to the window as I can. I apologise for the shaking. And this is us. This is the motorway. It's going to look like this the next couple of hours. One thing that's quite important to know is when you're on a French road, they have a different speed limit for if it's dry weather like today or if it's raining. If it's raining, the speed limit is 110 kilometres an hour, which is about 60 miles an hour?
10. No, it's about 70.
About 70. So I'm going to tell you one more thing about the road to France, the roads in France just now, which is about areas and places that they call airs. It's spelled A-I-R-E-S. These are like rest stops. There's a lot of them on the road. Somebody out there will probably be able to count how many there are between Calais and Disneyland. That somebody's not going to be me though. They all have different levels of facilities. The basic ones are basically a car park with perhaps a toilet. We've never come across one that we've had to pay to get into the toilet, but that's not to say you wouldn't get that. And sometimes the toilet facilities are really basic. Be prepared for that. Some of them, however, are more like motorway services that you would get in Britain, and they've got fuel stations, cafes. It's very variable, but they're quite frequent. They're every few miles, so you'll always be able to get a stop somewhere if you need it. If a sign comes up saying air and then gives like a list of prices, you know that one's going to have a fuel station. But our advice is do what we did, top up your tank when you're in Dover, and then we're not going to need to get fuel again until we get back into England.
But it depends on the fuel economy of your vehicle.
Well, this is very true.
We're quite lucky, we're getting about 60 miles to the gallon.
Yeah, we have an Insignia which is doing pretty well. But even when we came, the very first time we drove to France, we came with the old Astra that we had.
Petrol.
And it was petrol, and I don't think we had to top that up. And we went to Versailles.
I think we did top up in France.
We went to Versailles that time, so we did quite a bit of driving. But if we're only going to Disneyland and back, we wouldn't usually have to top up. If we're adventuring, we might have to top up.
I think your dad, when he took his car last year, I think he topped up at Disney.
Yes, there's a petrol station, that's right actually, there's a petrol station just next to the Santa Fe Hotel at Disney.
Yeah.
And actually that's the easiest and probably as good a price as you're going to get anywhere. If you have diesel, we know that it's called gazole in French.
Yeah.
So you're looking for that one rather than the Sans Plume, which is unleaded.
Something like that.
Yeah. So how are you finding it driving on the wrong side of the road?
Fine. I've done it many times, so it's not bothering me.
Yeah. But for people who've maybe never driven on the other side of the road, how straightforward do you feel it is?
It's just driving. You're just driving on the other side of the road. There's nothing to it.
To be honest, you barely notice it. I mean, this is the road just now, and it really just looks like a normal road back home, only the cars going the other way are over there instead of being over there. So there's a sign for an air coming up, and that showed the fuel tank and a cafe, but we're not going to stop yet because we're only about half an hour off the ferry. We might have to stop later on, it depends how much juice I drink in the car. We've decided that we're going to stop at one of the airs on the road, Air de Assevilla West. Don't laugh at my pronunciation, my French is not that good. So this one seems to be quite a good one. It's got a diesel station.
Which way are we going?
That one. And into the car park. There's also there's a McDonald's, so there will be a shop and there will be other sorts of facilities. So we're just going to park the car up and then we're going to nip into the rest area. If we can find a space. Woo! Space. Well, that rest stop was actually not bad at all. There was a McDonald's, like we said. There was also a patisserie hall, but we just went for some coffees, which we got in a vending machine, and they tasted pretty decent for a vending machine actually.
Yeah.
It was nice and clean inside, but one thing I will tell you, it's better you guys know this. Public toilets in France tend not to have a toilet seat, it's just the ceramic, so that takes a little bit of getting used to. But at least there was a toilet, because some rest stops it's just a hole in the ground, even in this day and age. So that's why we try and stop at the rest stops that have actual like a cafe or something, because you're going to get at least a toilet in them. Sorry, it's not a nice topic, but like I said, it's better you know that before you come. Anyway, we're now back on the road. We've got, what did you say? About 100 miles left to go. So we'll show you the road just now. We're on the A104, which is called the Autoroute du Nord, and this is what we look like. Again, a fairly standard motorway. Reasonably quiet at the moment, which is good, and it's not really been any bother. We haven't come across the toll yet, but like I said, I will try and get the camera back out in time when we do see the toll. So this is us approaching the toll booth. It's 1:20 now, but we did stop for about 20 minutes. So as you can see, there's lots of toll booths available. And we need one that you pay with a card. So bear with me 2 seconds. So what we're going to do is put the ticket in, arrow up, there we go. Then you need to put your bank card in, €22.50. That's us, off we go. That's how fast it is getting through the toll booth. Lots of lanes, so lots of cars now trying to get back together onto the motorway. It is a little bit wet. We've had a couple of bits of rain, but it hasn't lasted long. So we've come off of the A1, or the A104 were we on? We've come off of the big motorway that we were on anyway, and we're following the road for Marne Valley. Hope so. Certainly we're following the road towards Val d'Europe, which is in the right vicinity for Disneyland Paris. we're coming through the town.
It looks like it.
Yeah, sometimes, depending on which sat nav we have,
3 kilometres.
we come different routes, and the past few years we've come this way through a village, and that's where we're going. Must be the quickest route, yeah. This is us driving through the town on our way to Disneyland.
Your first time driving in on the wrong side of the road might be a little bit nerve-wracking, but once you get used to it, you're fine.
Yeah.
It's no different to driving home over the opposite side of the road.
Okay, so we're at a roundabout, and luckily there's nothing coming. We are driving the wrong way around a roundabout. I see Space Mountain. Do you see it?
Mm-hmm.
And I see the New York Hotel. And again with the wrong way round the roundabout. Now the hotels for Disney will be signposted for Hotels Disney, which is quite easy to understand even though it's written in French. If you're staying in the Magic Circus or one of those hotels, they're all on a street called Avenue de la Fosse de Pressoirs, and you come this way as well, and it's just a different turn-in a little bit further up, so you'd still be seeing all of this. This is some sort of French countryside. It's hard to believe how close we are.
The other side is the hedge for Disney.
Yeah, how close we are to Disney, because through that hedge, like Dave says, is Disney property.
This is completely different.
And over
world.
there is just field.
See, that hedge is a completely different world.
Yeah. A small world, maybe? Okay, so we're at another roundabout here. Over there is the Dream Castle, Magic Circus, etc. Explorers. Parks are over that way, and this is the road that we take to the Disney hotels.
Your destination.
This is where the sat-nav says the Sequoia Lodge is, but obviously it's not. We're gonna keep going. There's lots of signposts, and it is really clear if you don't know where we're going at this point. That's the petrol station I think I mentioned earlier next to the Santa Fe. If you do need petrol, that one's as good a place as any to get it. It's a turn-in for the Santa Fe.
And where's the door turning?
Okay, we're going straight here. This is the way to get to both the Sequoia Lodge or the Newport Bay. The Sequoia Lodge turn-in is just up ahead on the right.
We hope.
It is, I can see it.
Where?
There.
Alright, okay.
Okay, so we're gonna turn in here, and that's it. We've driven to Disneyland Paris.